Today on the Philly Talk podcast, we are going to break down the Eagles and Giants game for the number one seed. I do believe they're going to rest their starters. However, Pro Football Talk has had rumblings that there won't be a bye week for the AFC and they're going to add an additional team. If that happens over there, got to keep it fair. That means there won't be a bye week for the NFC, and instead of 7, there's 8. We break it all down. Got the articles pulled up. Let's go.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast. And today we got a lot to get into before we even talk Eagles, although this is big for what the Eagles want to accomplish. But before we do that, help your boy out. Hit that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, help your boy out. There's a link in the description. Check it out. We talk Eagle news behind the YouTube scenes. Now, this is titled NFL Ponders Playoff Seeding Without Playing Bills and Bengals, posted by Mike Florio, January 5th, 1:04 p.m. There's a new one posted that says Competition Committee to vote on approach to AFC playoffs at 6 p.m. Eastern. This was written at 5:55. My clock says 6:05 right now. That means they're talking about it. Again, Roger Goodell could veto something. A lot of things got to happen. But let's go and see the rumblings of what was talked about earlier on Twitter. The NFL continues to discuss the unfinished Bills and Bangs game from Week 17. Nothing is official yet. Here's what we currently know. Bills-Bengals most likely will not be played. The players don't want to do it, and there's no good way to fit it into the schedule. The best bad solution in this regard would be to play the NFC wildcard round in Bills-Bengals next weekend, with the AFC wildcard round being played the next weekend. This would wipe out the week between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. There's no appetite for that approach. The question then becomes seeding the AFC playoffs without the Bills-Bengals. Winning percentage becomes the most obvious method, but there are concerns that equity, can't read, it's small print on my side. Given that the winner of the Bills-Bengals game would have been in position to be one of the top seeds in the AFC. One possibility would be to add an 8th team to the playoff field in the AFC. This would eliminate the bye week for the number one seed to ensure competitive balance. There would have to be 8 teams in the NFC too. The NFL Player Association would have to agree a temporary expansion of the playoff field. Discussions also are continuing on the possibility of making the AFC Championship a neutral site game. The problem with this approach is that, for example, if a team other than the Bills, Chiefs, Bengals qualify for that game, then there's no need to use the neutral site. However it plays out, a decision needs to be made soon, especially if the playoff field was unexpectedly expanded in both conferences, because it changes the dynamics for the teams vying for playoff positioning. Some teams won't need to play their starters. Some teams might be able to squeak in as that 8th seed, blah, 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 blah. Now, the second one says the NFL is moving towards a solution necessitated by the decision not to proceed with the Week 17 game, the Bills and the Bengals. Per multiple sources, the competition committee will convene at 6 o'clock to vote on the approach of the AFC playoff seeding based on the fact that Buffalo and Cincinnati will have played 16 games and the rest of the conference will have played 17. It's unclear whether the vote will be binding. Most likely it will proceed to the commissioner, who could in theory veto it. Given the circumstances, it's highly unlikely that a full ownership vote would be required. Possibilities include a neutral site for the AFC Championship, blah, 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 blah. Finish will be the number 2 seed. There's possibility of adding an 8 team, so it's pretty much the same thing. There presumably is a small theoretical chance that the Bills-Bengals will still be played, given the unexpected good news from earlier today about the status of Damar Hamlin. That would require configuration of the playoff schedule, all indications currently point, however, to the game not being played. Again, did I skip anything that looks good in here? Pretty much, it's just saying it's the same article as the first one. They're just saying they're talking about it. Again, do I think a drastic measure like this would be made? No, I don't. No, I don't. And we want the number one seed, not just for the bye week due to our injured players, but the fact is, home field advantage is as important as the bye week because there's no more passionate fan base than the Eagles. And playing at home in our stadium with our elements is going to give us the advantage, and we need that. Now, here, before we get into Jonathan Gannon, because I got to show you, again, I dropped it on the shorts, but sheesh. Before we get to Gannon and Jalen Hurts, rest them, start them. I believe the Eagles are pulling this out no matter what. Drop your score predictions in the chat. Everybody got the Eagles except for Sessler, says we lose in overtime. Here's the thing. The Eagles really match up well against the Giants for the simple fact that teams that have a tough running back but can do some things in the air can mix it up against us. But the Giants are on the ground. That's how they move the ball, whether it's Daniel Jones running, whether it's Saquon Barkley running. And again, there's no need for a team who's hasn't been in the playoffs in so long to risk it in this scenario would just be foolish if something would happen. Now, I don't want them to gift wrap us a dub. I believe in my squad. I think we can beat them either way. But me trying to game plan for this game, I honestly do not see a scenario where Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley is in this game. It will be criminal to lose them. They're two best players, and Daniel Jones has been playing a lot better down the stretch of this season. When you haven't even sniffed the playoffs in a while, you can't get eliminated from the playoffs. You can't get eliminated from the playoffs before the playoffs start. And that kind of would happen if you lose Saquon or Daniel Jones. Your minds will not even show up. That being said, we saw what we did to the Giants a couple weeks ago in the Meadowlands. Just totally outmatched them. And I would just rinse and repeat that game plan. Although they would try to change some things up, but they don't really got the personnel to change things up. Now, Gannon, shout out to him for at least saying Reddick deserves Defensive Player of the Year candidate consideration. But I love how he knows we don't like that he drops him back. He knows that we don't like it. But listen to him.
As an individual, do you think his son Reddick deserves consideration as a Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, I don't know what his sack numbers are, but 16, yeah, he's up there. I mean, he's one of the best players in the NFL. I would say that. And, you know, if I didn't drop him so much, he'd probably have 25.
Is that a shot at us?
No, that's not a shot at you. That's a kudos in Hassan's hat to do whatever we need to do. He will do whatever we ask him to do to win the game.
As an individual,
Hey, it is what it is. Let's look.
We all
at,
excited, you know. We all.
Let's look
as an
at what
individual,
AJ.
We all excited, you know. We all.
Let's look what AJ Brown said as it pertains to Jalen Hurts coming back, already getting players locked in.
We all excited, you know. We all excited to see him back, to see him doing his thing. You know, he's locked in for sure. You know, he definitely has a tempo about him today. Even in the walkthrough, you know, he was telling guys to come on, hurry up, you know, get going. You know, so glad he's back. We all excited.
Here I said Jalen Hurts going through the ball security drill, which he did not do on Thursday and Friday practice last week, which led to him not playing. So I think him practicing Wednesday, a step up. The players feeling good about his arm, a step up. Him doing drills that they were keeping him out of, a step up. I really do believe that he will be here playing for the Eagles Sunday, unless we see that the Giants are completely resting all their starters. Then we might take a cautious game plan with him, Minshew, maybe play him a quarter or two. But that all can be assessed as we get to the actual Sunday game and watch who the Giants trot out there on the field. That's it. I was going to really break down this Giants game. Then I started realizing they really might not play their starters. Drop the muscle emoji in the chat. My bad for the horrible reading again. When I put the article on the screen, the computer screen is pretty far away. Maybe I need glasses, but the print, I can't read it. I could barely see it. However, I got so many Twitter DMs, IG DMs, comments on yesterday's video today talking about, did you see the possibility of the AFC losing it, then the NFC losing it, or one of them losing it, this, that, and the third? So I wanted to touch base on that. I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe they're going to figure something out that doesn't affect the playoffs, how they're saying it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. We out.